we're going to move to energy market derivatives, which Bitcoin miners are a big part of. As a disclosure, I do work for a Bitcoin mining company running media for them. So in this story, we see that Hive Blockchain produced their monthly Bitcoin production numbers, pretty good numbers for the month. And then we also see that they actually made a lot of money selling energy back to the grid. So that is the real story here. It has been the story for Bitcoin miners for quite a while. So they earned about 184 Bitcoin or Bitcoin equivalents just by curtailing energy during the month. They also mined about 213 Bitcoin over the same period. So they're down about 20% of Bitcoin mined month over month compared to the previous month. But that's okay because they sold a lot of energy back to the grid and made a nice buck on top of that. So we see actually a lot of miners doing this. Why? Because they sort of sit in nice places on the grid where they're able to soak up energy and then release it back to the market when the price to mine Bitcoin is too high or too low. And now markets are started thinking of Bitcoin miners actually as like energy reservoirs. So if the grid needs more energy, then these Bitcoin miners can just unplug or turn off and release energy back to the grid. And then the hospitals and the homes can continue having cheap energy. And then when those hospitals and homes don't need that energy that much, well, then these Bitcoin miners soak it up. And you see that we kind of create a more efficient energy market, or at least that's the play for right now. A lot of Bitcoin miners are running with. Jen, I'm going to throw the story over to you, get your take on it.
Well, I just have so many questions. So I came upon an article that CoinDesk published last month, and Juri Bolovich, who's the head of mining and staking at Foundry, also owned by DCG, just like CoinDesk, said that miners who can sell power back to the grid, recapture heat from mining rigs, and use stranded energy will have a competitive edge. Now, I think over the past, let's call it 6 months, we've been talking about mining companies. He's finding a competitive, diversifying. We've talked a little bit about other mining companies that have sold energy back to the grid, but we've seen a lot of mining companies file for bankruptcy. And so my question here is, why isn't this happening more if it is a solution? And are we going to see other ways for mining companies to diversify as we get deeper and deeper into the recession and into winter?
I saw Wendy throw her hand up, so I'll boot it up to her first.
I just think that it's so interesting that mainstream media only reports on the negative aspects of Bitcoin. Like, this seems like a pretty cool story. Like, it sounds like they, and Will, correct me if I'm wrong, not a miner, not good at this tech stuff. But it sounds like that they earned Bitcoin for using less power. And isn't that like a good thing for the environment?
Just expressing their savings in Bitcoin terms when really it's just money not lost. Like, is that what this story is about?
I love that we're all just trying to figure it out. And we're looking to you, Will, to let us know. Did we get it?
Come on, Will. Tell us. Hello.
Like, we shut down all the machines, and by not running the machines, we didn't lose 184 Bitcoin. Therefore, we earned the equivalent.
And we gave Bitcoin. The power back to the people, or
is that what's
something?
Going on?
You guys all have
Will?
little parts of it, but not quite there. So everyone has a little bit, yes. So yes, they did shut off. And yes, that does save them energy. But at the same time, they've already purchased that energy from the grid. And then they're able to resell it back to the grid at a slightly higher markup because the demand for energy is higher during that period. So you do earn a little bit of profit. And then to Wendy's point, you do give the energy back to the grid when they need it more. So you're not soaking it up and taking on that bad PR that I'm mining Bitcoin and Charlie at the hospital can't get his elbow fixed, right? So you have that angle as well. So there's a little bit of everything involved with the story for sure. And to Wendy's point as well, I think this is a good story that's been covered pretty well by mainstream media. I haven't seen too many knock-on effects. There's a lot of people out there that don't like the energy story with Bitcoin mining. I think CNBC and Mackenzie Gallos and a few others have done a very good job of covering this side of things. At the same time, I think it bears some more scrutiny, right? How does Bitcoin mining fit into energy markets? I think that's still something that's needing to be explored. We don't have a full picture yet. This could hurt in some places. It could help in a lot of places. So we don't quite know. Any other questions while I'm here on the spotlight? I can help out.
I have a question. Maybe you can tell us about the chip and these Hive buzzers.
The Hive buzzards. Yeah.
We're all getting fired after this, guys. Everybody will stand. We'll stand. We're done. We're done.
Okay, I will tell you about the chips before we peace out of here. So Intel is a huge manufacturer of chips, computers, that sort of thing. Bitcoin mining predominantly has made its ASICs, these computers that mine Bitcoin, over in China, in Taiwan, Singapore, Indonesia. That's predominantly where they're made. Over the last 2 years, we've seen the Biden administration and a lot of other Western countries being like, hey, we should make these chips ourselves because we don't want to be dependent on these supply chains post-COVID. So Intel started working on a lot of different chip designs, including for Bitcoin mining, and they started producing these things only recently. Hive Blockchain was one of the first customers for it, and they actually just got them installed. So what we're looking for now for the Bitcoin mining industry to see if this is actually something that's usable and competitive against other machines that are on the market right now. So there you go. There's your 30-second take on the Hive buzzards, as Jen put it. That's not really what they're called, but I kind of like the name more.
Can
Thanks,
we push this article to? Can we buy some bots on Twitter and push this article to Liz Warren's feed? Just kidding. We shouldn't do that. Bots are bad. Never use bots. But that would be funny because this is good for the environment, man.
Well, you're really picking up our collective IQ today. So thanks so much. 3 brainlets and Bill, brought to you by
Thanks, Will.
CoinDesk TV.